Welcome back to another episode of Chop It Up. And I'm so glad to have y'all tune in with me today. And today I feel like God is opening hearts and minds, especially of the prophet of the fivefold ministry. And I'm here to help us walk into the calling that God has called us to. And I think you're going to be excited about the information that I have found that God has downloaded to me, and I just want y'all to keep it locked right here.
Throw that word in the microwave, put it on the stove, slang it in the oven, man, however you want to chop it up, cook it up, man.
And we're back. One thing, please, if you find value in this video, please consider subscribing, press the like button, give me a comment, and also share this video, because I believe this is going to bring a lot of insight into people who have been going through all kind of things, that have been through things in childhood, that have always been rejected, never fit in, and just always feel like we are on the brink of losing our minds, committing suicide, or just blowing up the whole world. And I'm really thankful for the things that God have placed in my heart and my mind, and the clarification that He has been bringing. So, just to get everything out the way, I do believe that I am a prophet, called to the office of prophet, even though I have operated in the pastoral role and I am a teacher. So I do operate in the office of teacher. And I do also feel like I could also operate in the role of an apostle and the role of an evangelist. But what was spoken over my life before I was born, while my mama was carrying me, was she was carrying one of God's prophets. So I'm going to just elaborate on that a little bit more and try to give y'all some information that will, I believe, greatly help you in your search and your journey. Lately, I have been on a journey, a lonely journey by myself, just trying to find who I am, how am I wired, and what's my real purpose. Am I supposed to start a church? Am I supposed to be a Christian rapper? Am I, a YouTuber? I have so many gifts that God originally put in me, but then also gifts I have developed because of the way my mind is. And with me, I'm always searching. My mind runs like a computer 24/7. I'm always thinking a million thoughts at one time. And come to find out, I am ADHD. I was diagnosed at the age of 37. I'm now 39. Through childhood, I went to pediatric clinics to get tested. Whatever the results were, I'm not really sure, because back in the 80s, parents, they either didn't go for it or they went for it to get their child a check to bring some extra income into the family. But apparently, I guess my parents didn't go for it. And ADHD, I'm learning, is not a learning disability. I took the time, God took the time to download a book into me, which I was able to write and get published. It's called God, Me, and ADHD. And I'm just explaining that, hey, this is something that is not a disability. If a person learns to leverage the great parts of this mental state or mental wiring, whatever you want to call it, it's a blessing from God, because we are researchers, we think outside the box, we are creative, and we empathize with people, we understand people, we're down to earth. We do have some hang-ups, but it's more productive than it is counterproductive. And through my research, I came to find out that the most successful people are people with ADHD. Most of your doctors, your psychologists, your managers, and people who are either their own boss, a boss for a company, or just doing something great in life are most likely ADHD, especially musicians, painters, athletes, anything dealing with art. I find that most of your top performers are ADHD. You can even see the gymnast, the little lady, I can't remember her name right now. I think it's Simone, but she's a wonderful athlete, the best in in what she does, and she is ADHD and she is not ashamed. So, and then I see this trait in ADHD that makes us obsess over things that we're interested in. So we can go down a rabbit hole and just get stuck in this hyper focus on something that has caught our attention, and it's real hard for us to break loose. So I've done at least a good 2 years of research on ADHD and just finding out that it's not what doctors and researchers thought it was back in the day, and that research is still unfolding. And then recently, I came across this personality, which we have alpha personalities, beta personalities, and now I see that there is a sigma personality. And looking at these videos of a sigma male, the sigma male, it has the same traits as ADHD. We're always constantly in our minds. We're constantly reflecting on self and contemplating. We're quiet. We're introverted. They call us mysterious. And from the research, they say that we are actually more dangerous than a sigma, than a than an alpha, because we can fit in anywhere. We can lead, but we don't have to lead. We can follow, but then after that we can lead, or we can just blend in. We are almost like a chameleon of the different personalities in the world, because we can adapt to anything. But when it comes down to taking charge, it's nothing for us to take charge. And then that led me into the mental trait of an empath. And all of these things I've never heard of in my life. I'm 39 years old, and this is the first time in my life I've run across these terms. So the sigma male ended up bringing me to the empath. And as I'm looking at the empath has the same traits as the sigma and ADHD. So the empath is a person that feels other people's feelings, and they are able to relate to people, and they don't judge, they don't squash, but they raise people up and build people up, and people draw to them, to us, because this whole thing describes me. The sigma, the empath, it's all me. And when we are given positions of authority, that authority doesn't go to our head. We treat people as our equals. So no matter how low someone is under us, we treat them the same as someone that's equal to us, and come to find out, the empath worst enemy is the narcissist, because the narcissist picks on the empath's emotions to manipulate them and get things that they want out of them. But the empath is super intelligent. We feel, we love, we build up, but we are highly intelligent because we are also withdrawn. And when we withdraw in our lonely state, we are always reflecting and learning, learning and reflecting, contemplating, and we never forget nothing. So going into my rabbit hole of empath, I ran across this woman of God. Her YouTube channel is Anointed Fire, and she was teaching on some things, and when she said empath equals prophet, I was like, Lord have mercy. God, look at this. And then she broke it down to the empath, the prophet, how God's prophets are wired. Our mental state, our mind is always open. We're always thinking. And God wired us like that so he can always download something into us to get it out to, whoever he needs to get it out to. And she was describing my whole life. Like, I've always had thoughts that I have no idea where they came from. Especially after I got saved and started reading the Bible, things started clicking and things started coming together. And then the more I learned, the more wisdom I began to get, and things outside of the Bible began to coincide with the Bible. Things that people would say, oh, don't touch that, don't do this. You are supposed to stay guarded against witchcraft and evil. But I've come to find out that witchcraft and evil and things that the enemy uses for spiritual dominance and spiritual warfare are things that he took from God and just twisted. The devil is not a creator. He can't make something out of nothing. So he takes things of God and twists it. Just like the zodiac. I'm a Capricorn. I'm not afraid to say that I'm a Capricorn, but those Capricorn traits also coincide with ADHD, with the Sigma male, with the empath. And now I see with the prophet. So not only that, I saw one of her videos where she brought on her apostle, which is her pastor, and he began to teach things about the prophet and how we get caught up in traps and how rejection forms us and pushes us into the place where God can use us. Because once we receive rejection, we don't allow ourselves to treat other people like that. So when people around us are hurting, 9 times out of 10, the things that they are going through, the things that they are feeling, we have already been through from childhood. So we can sympathize and empathize with them and connect. And, it's just all kind of things that the man of God was saying, how the prophet gets trapped in sexual sin, how the prophet has an addictive nature. And that's me. I have been addicted to pornography. I have been addicted to drugs, addicted to drinking. But God has always been able to pull that away from me. God has never allowed me to stay in something so long till I hit rock bottom. He always comes and he rescues me. And to tell you the truth, that kind of reminds me of Jonah. Like Jonah ran, but God stopped him, forgave him, and brought him back. Elijah wanted to die after one of the greatest victories of displaying God's power and him having this connection with the Lord. He wanted to just go and die. And it's times where I felt like that. I mean, I have been rejected from way back. I can remember all the way back to when I was 3 years old, and I would have friends and they would turn on me. And you know, that was throughout all my life. I would make friends, I would care, and they would turn on me. They would. But when I tell you, I've been through I've been through trauma, and also I've done a little research on post-traumatic stress, because I know I have post-traumatic stress from being born and raised in the hood. I've been in other people's shootouts. I've been shot, you know. I've been close to death so many times that I can't even count. And that's just in childhood. And then recently I came across something that they just started to realize, that there is a such thing as complex post-traumatic stress that children develop between the ages of 3 and 15. And it could be anything that causes this, you know, them feeling neglected or rejected from a parent, them feeling not taken care of, not being loved, you know, not having the security that they believe they should have. And it causes things like dissociation and things that pop up in adulthood that when they come up, we don't know where it came from, but it's a byproduct of what we went through at a young age. And then also rejection, it changes our brain chemistry. For years, I've had a section of my life that I could not remember for nothing in the world. And after I got COVID, God was able to isolate me in a hospital room, and then also keep me isolated as I came out and recovered and began to speak things to me. And one day I was riding with my family to Houston, and I was just talking to my wife, opening up, and I hit this certain part of just me trying to explain my trauma to her, and it was like a cloud lifted off me, and that empty space, which I never knew really existed, opened up, and I was able to explain to her the things that went on. And then it made me realize why that was closed off, because I was hurt, you know, in that time period, and my brain shut off to protect me. And I was able to get confirmation from one of T.D. Jakes' associate pastors, I believe. She's a lady, I can't remember her name, but she's a therapist, and she was talking about people being in COVID and thinking that you're having memory problems or you're having early Alzheimer's, but she was like, no, that is your body telling you something is wrong. That is your body, that is your brain shutting down on you, letting you know that, hey, you have experienced something, you need to sit down and process this, you need to get it out in the open so you can heal. So, you know, Anointed Fire, she opened that window, that door, that of connection that I was missing. And then I came across this other personality trait that's called the INFJ, which stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging personality trait, aka the advocate. And I'm like, wow, the INFJ has the same traits as the empath, as the Sigma, as a person with ADHD, and they're called the advocate. And I never understood why, after being bullied myself, when I got to a place where I could use my hands pretty well and actually got addicted to fighting because I got that good at it, I had this passion for wanting to beat up bullies, for wanting to take up for people. If I see someone being taken advantage of, I would step in and want to avenge that person. And I remember talking to my kids not too long ago about them having more than others, and trying to let them know y'all have more than others, because I didn't have nothing, and I never want y'all to go through what I went through as a child. But one thing I will not tolerate is y'all being a bully to someone else because they don't have, or they are smaller, because I hate bullies. I cannot stand bullies. A bully makes my blood boil. So looking at this INFJ personality, that explains me. Everything, all of these personality traits and mental state. So as you can probably tell, phone died on me, camera died on me, everything died on me, but I'm still here to get this message out. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you continue to search the heart of God for your purpose and everything behind your life, and He will show you and reveal to you what it is that He has for you to do. So until I see y'all next time, peace.